The second punch was a hard one. Snow and wind blasted the state overnight and into the early morning hours. This is what Albuquerque looked like. Whiteout conditions making it hard to even see the Sandias. Good evening, everyone. I'm Crystal Gutierrez. Is the worst behind us, or is there more on the way? Let's get right to meteorologist Chris Gilson.
Well, Crystal, the winter storm warnings still continue for much of the state for all the areas in pink in a winter weather advisory for the metro and the Rio Grande Valley until tomorrow morning. So that means that we're not out of the woods just yet. We have concerns for some black ice as temperatures begin to fall during the overnight hours with some of that snow that melted earlier this afternoon. Regional satellite and radar still showing that storm system spinning over the four corners, so it hasn't left us alone just yet. It will continue to push off to the east, so that means more snow is on the way as we head into the overnight hours. Details on how much snow could fall and where coming up in your full forecast.
Santa Fe was the hardest hit in the metro, the capital city, still covered in snow tonight. We start our weather team coverage with News 13's Cole Miller. He's live in Santa Fe where things got messy and still are. Cole?
Crystal, we're set up here tonight along Cerrillos Road near I-25, and travel in and around the capital city is anything but easy. Many of the roads out here still in very poor shape. We got up to Santa Fe a little after 10 o'clock this morning, and there were still a few flurries falling from the sky. Over at the plaza, things were pretty quiet. There was some traffic, both foot and behind the wheel. It's estimated about 6 to 8 inches of snow fell here last night into the morning hours, and that is making things very tricky. We spoke to a couple of people out braving the elements, and here's what they had to say about winter's first big storm.
It's slick. I mean, there's a lot of snow on top of ice that's just being, packed on. The more cars are riding over it.
They're pretty icy, and even though I've got traction on my shoes, sometimes it just doesn't help, baby.
And you heard Susan at the end there. Even if you have good shoes or good tires if you're out driving, doesn't always make things easy. Cerrillos Road and other major roads here in Santa Fe moving pretty slow. No traffic here behind us now, but most cars moving at about 20 miles an hour. And believe me, it is slick up here. We slid out a couple of times and lots of cars sliding out here too. And if you're going out, bundle up. It is cold out here. Crystal, back to you.
All right, thanks, Cole. Now, plows are hard at work near Santa Fe, including side streets and along the interstate there. Albuquerque was not spared this time around. Snow started falling in downtown Albuquerque overnight, and it didn't let up this morning. And while the flurries were light at times, it was enough to cover cars, streets, and even sidewalks. In northeast Albuquerque, residents awoke to their own blanket of snow. Crews worked to clear the way for shoppers, shoveling snow and ice from the sidewalks. For customers, the change of weather came with mixed emotions.
I love it. I want some more. Bring on the snow.
I don't like the snow because I think it's too dangerous to be out in it, and I worry about people getting hurt. And it's cold, and I don't like winter.
In southeast Albuquerque, the snow brought on more work for some residents. Others stepped out to enjoy it while it lasted. Some worked fast to make a winter snow favorite. Although it was small, Frosty was sitting pretty on a park bench. Residents in Rio Rancho also saw a good amount of snow last night into the early morning hours. As you can see, blankets of snow covering streets, yards, and even cars. This is video from earlier this morning. At that time, the snow was still coming down pretty thick. While the snow has since melted, drivers should still use caution when traveling as roads are expected to get icy tonight. Snow, ice, and slick roads, that's the story for much of New Mexico, including I-25 and I-40, where tons of crashes have been reported over the last 24 hours. News 13's Chris McKee continues our team coverage. He's live in downtown Albuquerque. Chris?
Crystal, the interstates are slick tonight and wet from a lot of that leftover snow melt, but they are clear of any packed snow and snow piles both east and west of Albuquerque and up north through Raton. Now, it is looking a lot better tonight than it was last night, where crashes were happening just about every minute on both I-25 and I-40. Of course, the East Mountains was hit hard, and that continued into this morning. Snow-packed roads causing semis and cars to slide, trying to avoid crashing. Here was another bad crash on I-40, this one west of Albuquerque near Casablanca and the Dancing Eagle Casino. Two semis slid off the road there, one plowing into a guardrail. Up on I-25 near Santa Fe, this semi jackknifed as well, causing more problems. Seeing the crashes, drivers say this weekend has been a rough start to what many say isn't even the worst New Mexico's seen.
Edgewood gets a lot of snow. Last year we didn't get quite as much, but we get more.
We stuck here for, I don't know,
A couple hours.
maybe more.
As we've seen out here, out of all of these crashes that have happened over the last 48 hours, only one death has actually been reported. That was a crash near Gallup. Again tonight, the interstates are clear in and around the Albuquerque metro area. However, there is a lot of moisture left over on those roads, making it very slick for drivers. Don't go out if you don't have to. Crystal, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Chris. Now, there was also a crash on I-25 just outside of Socorro. News 13 viewer Sherry sent in these pictures of a semi that slid off the road and flipped onto its side into the median. The trailer still lying on the interstate, blocking traffic. Sherry says it happened about 7 miles north of Socorro near Limitar. When they were able to finally flip that truck back up, you can see the trailer is just a mangled mess. Driving conditions in San Juan County are pretty dicey today. As you can see, the roads are covered in compacted snow and ice. If you live or are heading to the northwest part of our state, make sure to leave plenty of time for travel and go prepared in case you get stuck. You, our viewers, are part of our snow continuing coverage from across the metro and the state. KRQE viewers are sharing video and pictures with us. Here's a look at what you saw in your backyards. This viewer in Rivera in San Juan County may have the right idea. You can see an ATV covered in snow, but it might be the right way to get around. PJ Walker shared this moment in time with us, a beautiful look at this snow-lined street in Los Lunas. Vicky from Edgewood sent this in. She tells us at least a foot of snow fell at her house just south of I-40 and east of Edgewood. A beautiful sight in the Manzano Mountains. Isaiah Sanchez took pictures of these two does. Looks like they decided to take a route more traveled and move to the roadway to get better traction. And you know, pets, they love or hate the snow, but our viewers do love sharing their pets' reactions to it. Philip from TRC shared how his dog decides to take a taste of it. Sam seems to enjoy it. David Gonzalez shows us his dog loves romping around in the snow out at Gonzalez Ranch. And you know, Coda, the husky, was born for this weather. Coda plops on down looking right at home in Cordova, New Mexico, and this wintry weather blast. And we want to hear and see from you. If you have weather video or pictures you want to share for air, just log on to KRQE.com and click on the Reported tab. The winter storm is great news for ski resorts, including Ski Santa Fe. It's reporting an additional 7 inches of fresh snow in the past 24 hours. It now has a 25-inch snow base. Tell Ski Valley is reporting they have seen 5 more inches of snow since yesterday and now has a 37-inch base. The snow has led to some closures and delays across the state. Santa Fe Public Schools are delayed 2 hours tomorrow. St. Michael's in Santa Fe also delayed until 10 tomorrow morning. Portales Municipal Schools are closed tomorrow. Eastern New Mexico University in Portales is closed tomorrow for students. Employees, you still have to report to work, but some will be delayed. For more information on these and other closures, log on to KRQE.com.